We got ourselves some tasty little updates on Welcome to Derry, a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie, and Halloween Ends, the trailers specifically. Let's get into all of these things.
What's your favorite scary movie? Name it.
We'll tear your soul apart.
I'm Pennywise the Dance now.
We're gonna get you. Oh, blood on the beast!
God, don't do that.
But sometimes death is better.
Hey everybody, what's up? Killjoy Jake here, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. Welcome to this week's Frights, where we're talking a little bit about 3 different things that I'm very excited for, including Welcome to Derry, the Pennywise It prequel series that is coming soon to HBO Max. We got some concrete evidence on that, as well as some not so concrete evidence on the new trailer when that's supposed to arrive, and a new Jason Blum quote that very much suggests that maybe they want to tackle the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. We're going to get into all that in just a second here, but first, if you guys could like this video and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate that. Also, if you like seeing movie reviews more than just like content like this where it's updates on movies, you can check out my second channel, Movie Smoothie, where I just review everything that comes to theaters. Go check out that page. The link for that is in the description below. So starting off with our first update on Welcome to Derry, a new series coming to HBO Max sometime soon. Now, I want to make this very clear that this was not something that was confirmed for a long time. It wasn't very concrete. There was some rumblings about like, oh, It miniseries is maybe happening on HBO Max. Maybe this is happening. Andy Muschietti had some kind of just like a handshake deal with the people there, and Stephen King recently announced that he would not have any involvement with the writing process. But now we kind of have some concrete evidence that they're not only working on it, that the show is actually in production right now. One of the writers for the show, Shelley Meals, posted a picture captioned, "First day of Welcome to Derry writer's room. We float down here," with a bunch of red balloons lining a hallway. Another picture was posted by Shelley saying, "Welcome to Derry, Losers Club," and Andy Muschietti and Barbara Muschietti are in this photo, which is really interesting. So this basically soft confirms that yes, they are working on this show. They're writing it currently. It's probably gonna go into production sometime. We might see it next year, depending on how quick this whole writing process takes. I am very excited for the show, but there is something interesting to consider here. If the original movie, which takes place in the 80s now opposed to the 50s, where it originally happened in the book, like it was during the 50s and then it got brought back to like sometime in like the late 80s and all that, they have to change this up a little bit. So they could bring back some of the nuances from the book, where when they like during the kids section of the book where it's like it's taking place there, you could bring some of those 50s nuances into this specific script here. Like maybe some stuff about like the black spot that was briefly mentioned in the It 2017. There was a whole incident there. Apparently you could touch on all these things in a prequel series. Will they also touch on the origins of Pennywise, about how he came to Earth? Well, that was another thing that was teased in It Chapter 2 much more heavily than in the first film. So will they continue that plot line? My one thing about prequels that I don't love is when they over-explain things. I'm down to give Pennywise a bit of an origin story. Cool, yeah, hell yeah, but don't make that the entire central focus. Like, listen, we're here for the clown. We're here for a bunch of kids getting terrified by the clown and possibly even being eaten by the clown. So give us the clown. And listen, It Chapter 1. You teased me with the baby eating, okay? There's a deleted scene from that film where apparently Pennywise eats a baby when he first gets to Earth. I want to see that scene. Don't be teasing me with no prequel series and not give me the baby eating scene, okay? Do I sound a little crazy? Probably. I'm a man ranting about a clown eating a baby on the internet, so I'm probably a little crazy at this point. But moving into our next big update, talking about a recent Jason Blum quote that has had a lot of Nightmare on Elm Street fans very, very excited. So apparently when Jason Blum was talking with Screen Rant about the new film that's coming out this week called The Black Phone. I highly recommend you go check that out and check out my non-spoiler review of it, which is probably up here somewhere. Blum was asked about the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise and his thoughts on possibly bringing back Robert Englund into the franchise if he was able to convince him somehow, to which Jason Blum responded with, "I could make him come back. I can get anyone back. I mean, Ellen Burstyn was 87 and I got her back in The Exorcist. Yeah, 75. He's young." I gotta say, just about every time I talk about Jason Blum on this page, he just seems like the nicest, most optimistic dude ever. I would just love to have a conversation with him. Even if it's not about horror movies, he just seems like the coolest dude. I love this quote. God, what a positive human being. I love it. Awesome. But even with all that positivity, he does make a really good point. He convinced Ellen Burstyn, who by the time that this franchise is going to be over, this new Exorcist trilogy that they're doing, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but I'm still excited for it. I'm still going to check it out. He convinced Ellen Burstyn to be in this, and she's 1987. She's got over 10 years on Robert Englund. You're telling me he's done? Jason Blum could convince the guy. There's enough money at Blumhouse to throw at the guy, I think, for him to do at least one more Nightmare film. That could happen. That could happen in the future. I wouldn't say that that's not even a possibility, because now with Jason Blum saying all this, he's interested in doing it. So maybe when they're done with the whole Exorcist thing, maybe Nightmare on Elm Street is next for Blumhouse. I would be very excited for that. I think for the most part, what they've done with Halloween is a really cool story. I'm really happy with it so far. Obviously, my opinion may shift in one way or the other with how Halloween ends. So we'll have to see come this October. But I've been really happy with it so far. I think Kills was, it had its problems for sure, but I'm still happy with it. It's still a lot better than some of the other sequels we've gotten in that franchise. And speaking of that franchise, Halloween Ends is our next big update, talking about the trailer that may or may not come out this week. Many are speculating that the Halloween Ends trailer could come out this week, considering that the trailer for Halloween Kills came out on June 24th of its respective year. Guess what this Friday is, everybody? June 24th. So do we get a brand new trailer for Halloween Ends sometime this week, maybe sometime next week? I would speculate yes, probably. If they're going to follow a similar marketing strategy that they did for the past two films, I don't know why they would change it. Both of those movies were wildly successful. I think yes, we will probably get a trailer sometime either this week or maybe early next week. One more thing that I want to add to all this is we might actually get it sometime in early July. Another thing I want to point out is that Halloween 2018's first trailer came out June 8th. Which was really early for them to start marketing that. Then for Halloween Kills, they adjusted it a little bit and ended up putting their first trailer out towards the end of June. So do we get the first trailer for Halloween Ends, maybe if that is going to follow suit, sometime in early July opposed to late June? I could see that being a possibility too, but once again, I don't really see the point of changing up their marketing strategy that much, especially when the last two installments were super successful. My one thing about the marketing, and this is just a personal preference thing, is wow, did they show way too much especially for the marketing for Halloween Kills. You basically gave away all the really cool surprises in that final trailer, and I was pretty disappointed by that. Not only did I have one of the biggest reveals of the last film spoiled in a YouTube comment, but then also the final trailer basically touched on that as well, so I was pretty upset overall. I think that would have been really cool to have seen that for the first time in the theaters when I actually see the film. You don't have to put that much into a trailer like this, especially with a gigantic franchise like this. This is arguably the biggest slasher franchise ever. So why do they feel the need to overmarket it? That's what I don't understand. Universal has really got to figure this out, because I don't know why they decide to overmarket a movie like this. Like, I understand overmarketing something that's like an original concept or whatever. Maybe you're afraid it's not going to make a whole lot of money. That's understandable, but this is Halloween. You have a fan base that no matter what is going to see this, even if it's a piece of junk. But what do I know? I'm just some guy who sits in his bedroom all day and talks about horror movies, so maybe I'm just a complete idiot. Don't listen to me, Universal Studios. But what do you guys think about all these updates? What has you the most excited? Possibly a new Nightmare on Elm Street film with Robert Englund from Blumhouse? Does it get better than that? Leave me something about it in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching this new update video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more horror content in the future. Also, if you want to support this channel further, you can become a Patreon supporter or a channel member by clicking on that join button on my page. Thank you guys for watching again, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.